Well, hey kids, welcome back to Park Streamers Hangout, where you get to hang out with the wonderful Cordy in California, the amazing Berry Place 28, and little old me, Theme Park Casual. We have got a packed show for you tonight, guys, and so I'm not going to bore you with any other details other than to introduce my co-host. So we're going to start with you, Cordy. Cordy, would you let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Cordy in California. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and now Twitter.
She has come to the dark side, everyone. She is on Twitter, or X, if that's what I'm calling it now. But yes, great to have you, Cordy. Thank you for joining us again tonight. We will now shift down to my other co-host, Berry Place 28. Would you let everybody know where they can find you?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition. You can find me at BerryPlace28 on Instagram, Twitter, or X, I guess they're calling it, and also YouTube. And I just signed up for Twitch, so hopefully you'll be catching me on there soon, but I haven't posted anything yet, but hopefully you'll be catching me on Twitch. So Cordy added Twitter, I added Twitch.
So they've both gone to the dark side on different sides of the spectrum, but I have not added anything yet, so I was actually thinking about Twitch, but we'll see about that. So let's jump right into it because, like I said, we've got a big show planned, lots of stuff to go over. We're going to start with the man of the hour, Mr. Hatbox Ghost. He has been in the news as far as Disney fans are concerned on several fronts. And the big one that we have over here at Disneyland is he is, as Bob is showing you, been released as a sipper. So, Bob, why don't you tell us about this little sipper that you have there?
Well, I want to say thank you to Cordy in California because this was my birthday gift that she gave to me last week. So, Cordy, thank you so much. I love the Hatbox Ghost. The Hatbox Ghost is really cool. Obviously he is well, he's probably about good 10-11 inches tall. He actually does light up, so you can light up with his let's see here, oops, there we go. So he lights up with his head or his face, and then you can also light him up with just his hat box and his head in there. Oops, sorry. Or you can do both where it switches back and forth between his head and his hat box. So you'll see it, it's going to switch right now. There we go. Kind of fades in. It's really, really neat. You actually do have a little sipper on the back here. So it's this area right here. And let me open it up so you can see it. There it is. So this is where you take your little sip from. One thing you do need to be careful about, and this is my only gripe with this thing, is his head likes to come off real easily. So it's got the straw. Obviously, you know, this is where you're going to put your, you know, drink. But it has these two little magnetic posts right here. And underneath, it's got those two little magnetic, I guess, pieces. And you just kind of put it together. And the thing is, if you hold it by his head like this, oh, it eventually just popped out. So you want to make sure you definitely don't do that. It does come with a lanyard. I took the lanyard off so I could wash it, and I did not put it back on. Lanyard is really, really cool. But I like it. One thing I found, though, is I washed this thing and cleaned it up after using it because I wanted to try it out. And water is coming out from every little section. So make sure you take time to, you know, let it dry and whatnot. But it's a great little sipper. I do love it. I think it's really cool how they put it together. And Cordy, thank you so much. for getting this for my birthday. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Okay, now I know it was a gift, but I have to ask, and I'm sure everybody would like to know, what was the cost of...
I was gonna say it, and I'm like, ooh, am I supposed to say it? But yeah, I mean, it's public knowledge. Right? 30 to 20 out the door. No discounts on these types of things. So
Oh, you scared me just saying that price.
every time.
Oh, that's crazy. But it's very cool. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're a
it is.
collector of the popcorn buckets or the sippers or anything like that, this is definitely one to have. I do think they did a great job with the detail. I love how, he lights up and, from his head to, the Hatbox. So they did a great job. The detail is amazing. It's really, really cool. With the only caveat is make sure you don't hold him by the head so he doesn't pop off. But I think it's great. And you can see this picture here that Cordy sent us that she took right in front, actually off to the side of the Haunted Mansion. But it's a nice sipper. I really like it.
Yeah, and so I went Friday, the day it was crazy. I always get kind of anxious, like with all of these virtual queues. Anytime you have to like beat somebody to the punch, right, in these on the app. But they had them. So the first thing I heard was they're going to have them at Harbor Galley, and you can mobile order them. And they didn't open it up till exactly 8 a.m. So if you went on before, it was like it wasn't showing on the menu. And then when 8 o'clock hit, it took me probably 5 minutes. I just kept trying and trying because it kept erroring. And then I started to hear. So I secured mine for like a 12:30 pickup, 12:30 and 1. So it was a mobile order, so I had to be there between that time span. And then I had heard that some people, their orders were getting canceled. So then that was kind of scary.
Wow.
So Theme Park Detective did help me a little bit because he was in the park. So just in case that one fell through, right, he helped me with getting him live. But so when he was there, then they opened it up at the churro cart in front of Haunted Mansion. They had them. I haven't been there since Sunday, so I don't know if they have them now. The churro cart over in Critter Country, and I want to say the popcorn cart because they were pointing that way when everybody got in line by Haunted Mansion.
So we haven't heard that they've sold out or anything yet, have we?
No confirmation on that.
Okay. So not necessarily, you don't have to be disappointed that, they were gone first day or anything like that. So it seems they're getting better at keeping quantities, at a proper level for the demand. Now, my thing, and this is why I've actually avoided going after these things, is they do so many of them and they've turned into toys more than sippers. And that to me is just like, okay, I'm buying a little statue that's made out of plastic that has a hole in it. It's like, it's not a sipper. It's like a little art piece. Let's just be honest. So I think it's funny that they're using it as a sipper, but come on, it's like the train popcorn bucket. It's got a place for you to put a thing of popcorn. It's not even the bucket itself. You don't even put the popcorn in the bucket. No. So it just, that kind of stuff, it's cracking me up. I mean, it's brilliant merchandising, and obviously the fans love it and they're eating it up and they're, buying them in, by the truckload, it seems. So I can't knock them for doing it, but that's part of why I'm kind of like, I'll just steer clear of these ones.
Yeah, theme park casual didn't mean it. Hatbox goes. Take it easy.
I meant it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Look, I remember when the popcorn buckets came out, and they're very practical. Obviously, the ones that are for the Disneyland 100th anniversary that have the balloons, the Mickey ear balloons, those are a little more practical. These are not as practical. You can't put as much of a drink in there. You'll sip it up really fast. I mean, if you're at home, it's not a big deal. You're in the parks. A lot of people don't like to get drinks in them anyhow because they want to collect them. But if you do, you're not going to be able to drink a whole lot. And then, you're kind of carrying this big, thing around. throughout the park for the whole entire day, depending on what time you get it. So I do get that part. I do like the fact that they're taking the time to make it a little more artsy, and it's a little more of a collector's item to kind of sit on your shelf. But I get your point. Theme park casual. It's not always a practical thing. It's more of a collector's thing now. And I got to tell you, when it comes to like the popcorn buckets, my sister-in-law Gloria, she loves popcorn buckets. I mean, she's got a shelf full of them and collects all of them because she wants to get each and every one. So for a lot of people, that's what it's all about. But for other people, like you, I totally understand that you want something a little more practical that you can really use. So.
Yeah, and I saw that comment, Mike Skellington. I'm not a wet blanket. I said for me. I complimented the marketing prowess, and I allow everybody to enjoy it to the fullest. I'm just going to bow out of this one. So.
I think the one thing with it that for me that it turns into, but I think this is kind of normal for everybody, where I wanted the Mickey popcorn train, but then this came out and I didn't have a chance to get the train. So then I was like, well, I guess I'll just get this. So, you start to pass over things, or some of us do, where you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll just get this instead. So that's the one thing with me, just with merch in general, like movies too, once you kind of miss that first opportunity, you're like, oh, okay, let me move on, which I don't know, good or bad, right? I mean, for them, it's good because you're just pushing it out there, right? So that people can consume it. But, right. But sometimes I feel a little bad because I'm like, I really wanted to get that, but you might only be able to get a few or want to get just a few items. So.
Yeah. I'm very picky when it comes to, especially collectible style merch, because I'm a completist. So it's like if I get one of something and there's a set, I have to have the set. Otherwise, every time I look at the incomplete set, I'm disappointed in myself. So that's the other thing. I know myself. So it's like if there's something that comes out that's going to have either multiples or whatever, I'm stuck trying to get all of it, and it just becomes an obsession, and it's not good for me. So it's just a matter of knowing myself. So, okay, like I said, Hatbox has been in the news. Cordy, you had information or heard a rumor that Boxy here may be coming as a meet and greet?
Well, it's kind of speculation because Disneyland had posted, right? We saw like a little ad, I guess, if you will, that hinted to, or I don't know if we just kind of grabbed that from it, where it was a real, it wasn't the Sipper, it was a live person.
Actor as
that you're like, and it was kind of shadowy, where you're like, we know who it is. But, so then it's just more speculation of, oh, are we going to get a meet and greet, or is it going to be like an Oogie Boogie, something new? Because we don't know yet. I haven't heard of anything really new. I don't think, unless you guys have, but I don't know if I've heard of anything new. So, I mean, that would be a great ad.
I was going to say, I haven't heard any new additions for Oogie Boogie yet. So it could be that's, the big reveal is going to be, Hatbox being one of the meet and greets, which would be interesting. Mm-hmm. But again, it's one of those behind a paywall. Come on, some of us want to see him, out in the regular park. Right. But I get it. I mean, Oogie Boogie needs. If you're paying the money, you should get some special stuff, and that would be cool. Mm-hmm. Especially if what's he going to sound like? That would be interesting to see. Do they let him? I mean, they've got to let him talk, because I think all of the meet and greets, they're interactive in that they talk to you and respond to you, right? So he'd have to have some sort of a voice.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. But I think it would be cool. I know that we're hinting at adding the Hatbox Ghost to the Haunted Mansion in Walt Disney World, and I guess that's coming later this year as well. So that'll be great for the people in Florida. But yeah, I would love to see an actual Hatbox character ghost meet and greet. That'd be awesome. But again, even if they save it for Oogie Boogie, I think that'd be great, because you get the opportunity to see him there as well. So,
yeah. And I don't know if you guys want to even discuss it, but the placement of Hatbox in Magic Kingdom's Haunted Mansion has caused a little bit of a fracture in the Disney community yet again over something that some people say no big deal. Other people are, sticklers for story and theme. So basically, Hatbox was a strictly California thing. It was only in the California mansion. It was never a part of the mansion in Florida. I believe he came and went from California before they even built Florida. So he was never included over there. So the big deal about him being over there, it was like, hey, the Florida people are excited. They're getting this, really cool character that's been, legend and myth and whatever for a long time at Disneyland. Well, they get the character, but they place him in the endless hallway, which is pre-seance scene. Mm-hmm. And if you know the lore of Haunted Mansion, the flow of the ride has you go through and you don't actually see any ghosts until after the seance room. And that's supposed to be that Madame Leota is the one who summons the ghosts and has them reveal themselves. So by placing Hatbox in the endless hallway prior to the seance, people are saying you're kind of starting to fracture that storyline, which I'm of the camp where I agree with that it is a bad placement. They could have put him just about anywhere, and that one is one that starts to distract from the storyline the same way when they added Captain Jack Sparrow to Pirates, it adjusted the storyline. That one, I don't think it necessarily fractured it or did anything to mess it with it. It just kind of changed it a little bit. It kind of spun it in a little bit of a different direction. This one, it kind of feels like it's a little bit out of place. But I'm not a Magic Kingdom diehard, so it doesn't really affect me. But it is one of those things where you look at it and you go, again, this was Disney Imagineering trained us that those are the details that matter.
Right.
What do you want me to do when you're the one who was always telling me every little detail matters, every little thing, every single thing that you see in the attractions has to be done completely on purpose. That's what they taught us, that every single detail was done on purpose. So if you see a mistake, it was a mistake on purpose, basically. That's how I've always viewed. I mean, when I went through art school, that was how you had to treat things, especially when you're doing design rather than, free-form art, where it's, you can get into emotions and how do you feel about it, and what's the artist, what's your interpretation. When you're doing design and you're trying to tell a story and elicit a specific reaction, everything is done on purpose. No matter what you did it on purpose. That's how I was taught. That's how Disney always treated it. And it's sometimes, when you see these tiny little things that you can kind of start seeing things shift or not fall right in that, Disney upper echelon of quality, you start to question things. And I mean, like I said, I'm not going to make a big deal about it, but it is one of those things where I say, yeah, I agree. It's out of place.
So my friend says, he just mentioned the downside is we get like 2 seconds, right? You're trying to catch me like, oh, maybe I can see him do both, right? Can you like show me his face and then the Hatbox? Yep. And they should move him into the attic. So it would still be, I guess, not as far, out there as Walt Disney World is looking at doing, but I wonder how that would work because there's so much of the bride, right, in that attic that,
right.
But it would be nice to get a little bit more, or is it good to just keep them like that? So you're like, oh, there he is. And then you.
Right. Which, what part of it do I get to see this time? Do I get to see the changeover or do I only get to see the Hatbox? Yeah, that kind of stuff is fun when they do it like that.
So FastPass listing do not have a little ledge where a Hatbox is. I don't believe they have the same type of ledge that we have. So, but I just put up the comment from our friend the Rogue Attraction. You know, he's a streamer from Florida, and he, you know, even agrees should have been in the attic or somewhere in the attic. Like Cordy said, you've got the bride, and they're trying to explain the bride situation in there, so maybe they would do that. But you know, maybe they could have, you know, modified it a little bit so that he was at the end, or I don't know. No, the bride is kind of at the end, I guess.
So can I? This, you know, I have to go off topic. Well, kind of. So the bride, I was today years old. Well, last week years old, but the bride, I didn't know that she had every time she got married again, I guess she had a new ring of pearls, right?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know if it's a new ring of pearls or it's another pearl added, something like that.
Another necklace. Because now I've been
Right.
looking and I'm like, oh, there it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. But in case anyone didn't know, like me, that was something I.
Yeah. See, again, those are those details that add so many layers, and that's what we've always loved about Disneyland and you know, the Disney parks is they've got those fun little things to discover like that, and that's why I said everything they do is done on purpose. So when it's something that's, you know, a little incongruous with what the attraction has been, you gotta feel for the fans that point that out and ask why. So
yeah, well, you know what? When I went to Paris, you know, they actually do their version of the Haunted Mansion. I loved it. They, you know, it seems like each version has their own little details and story, but I feel like they really expanded the story and they really explain why the bride is doing everything that she should. They don't have the Hatbox ghost there either, but they have the Phantom, obviously. But you know, it's really cool to see, you know, all those different details. But I agree with you, Theme Park Casual. If they're going to do it for a reason, they need to make sure that they put it in there so it's explained what they're doing and why they're doing it. Just like they did for the other parks, for the different storylines of the Haunted Mansion. And it just seems like they're not doing that with the Hatbox Ghost over in Florida. So we'll have to wait and see. Look, it hasn't been, you know, they haven't, I don't think they've actually definitively said, hey, we're going to put it in the hallway, but this is where they wanted to put it. So maybe after getting the feedback, they won't do that.
yeah, we'll have to see. But since we're on Hatbox and Mansion, we'll continue on that line because they've got tons of merch and food coming up for Halloween. And I believe, Cordy, you've been able to get over there and check some of it out. So why don't you let us know what you've discovered so far?
So as far as the merch, I did not get over there today because, as you guys know, Tuesday's like merch drop day. So some of the items here that we're seeing are that we're going to credit Instagram. It's Addicted to Disney 55. So they had posted earlier, so I just want to give credit to them. But yeah, it just some as we go through. But there's like new Crocs, new T-shirts. There's a Loungefly, and then of course the coveted pumpkin. The pumpkin is back. But what I heard was that so last year, and they didn't turn it around because I'm trying to remember if last year if it was the Winky Blinky, like one side was, you know, just a smile and the other one was winking. But this year they said it's pulsates the light, so it is different. So that is $75 for.
Does it give like the flicker style light? So it like as if there's a candle in there?
Lit it up. Yeah, they didn't light it up, but they just.
Are you talking about the pumpkins?
That pumpkin, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, I would imagine that would be probably what it is. Like if there's a candle lit inside, right? But yeah, so that one's going for 75, and then the little one is going for 30.
Wow, 75.
That
And
little
30 for
one
the little
is
one.
30?
Yes.
That is crazy.
That's like that barely fits in your hand.
I know.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to save my comment to myself.
Yeah. If,
I'm not. That's crazy.
Well, that's because I was going to say something totally different. That's why.
But see, I'm going to have to go check around because you know what? I bet you, I just want to compare, like if I go to Michael's or something, but like what are they going for now? Because like as years go on, but I'd be curious to see like how much of a gap is there from just the kind of generic stuff.
Yeah, I do like that they changed it up. I mean, that's a considerably different pumpkin than last year's.
Mhm.
So it's not like, hey, it's the same thing, we put a different light in it, kind of thing. And that one looks pretty sizable. That doesn't look tiny, because you can kind of see somebody's arm on the side right there. So it looks like it's, bigger than somebody's head, actual head. So it's a good size.
So Garrett,
I will still buy.
There you go. He's not backing down. Oops. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I think I have to see it and then say, well, is it really worth it? Can I justify the $75? I mean, that's what a lot of these merchandise things turned out to be. Is it worth it to you? If it is, great, get it. That's awesome. But did you say you put a candle in the back like past years, or is it electrical?
I think it was gosh, now I can't remember if it was just like the light stayed on or if it blinked, where this one they said pulsates, which like the Park Casual said, I think that means flicker, but they're saying pulsate. So that's what I'm envisioning as well, as more of a as if a candle is.
Yeah, and again, I mean, the marketing is brilliant, because next year when they come up with a different one, everybody's going to be like, oh, I got to get that one. And after 4 years of collecting them, it's like, well, I got to get all of them now. And that's why I said I got to steer clear of those kind of things, because I'll end up going, oh my God, I got to get there today. If I don't get there today, I'm not going to be able to get it. And then I'll be like, okay, well, I got to be on eBay, and now it's $350.
And I heard
I can't do that. Oh, they did sell out.
Yeah, that's the last word I got, like around 6:30ish.
Wow. Interesting.
So we'll see.
Now, I will say, my wife and I many years ago did buy the Mickey ears like that, or the Mickey head, and you did put like a votive candle in there to light it up and everything. And we saw the ones the following year, we didn't like them. Then we saw the ones the following year, we didn't really care for them either. So I think it just depends. I mean, some of these are amazing and great, and you want to collect them. Like I like this one; it's kind of a cool looking one. But at the same time, I think it just depends on what it looks like and how much it costs. And I don't know. I don't need to collect everyone every single year, but
yeah. Well.
So
again,
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Pat's asking, so do you put this in a window or inside your home? I think this can go indoor and outdoor, correct?
Yeah, you can it's probably somewhat weatherproof. I mean, you probably don't want it out there in the rain, but yeah, it can be on your porch. Like if it's, under an overhang or something like that, it's probably just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring it in every night.
All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Pumpkin.
Grab
it.
Well, no, I was going to say this is just one piece of the merch that we've got to look at right now. If you want to backtrack through some of it, we've got some more of the clothing.
Yeah, so just a little bit. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, Bob was pointing out, I like the way it's kind of, they kept the theme of the designs, right? It's like the Crocs matched the Loungefly, matched the T-shirt. So,
well, one of the things I like is that, Disney is very cutesy, right? There's a lot of things that are very, family friendly, but I kind of like how this is kind of a little sinister, the way that Donald looks, the pumpkin looks, Mickey looks freaked out. I really like how they kind of went with that theme for this one. It's still family friendly and still looks cool. I just like that it's not so cutesy and it's very more, Halloween-ish.
Yeah, I was going to say, I kind of dig how it's got a little bit of a darker feel. Mm-hmm. It's not the typical look for the characters. So I thought that was interesting. Especially Pluto, he looks real off.
Mm-hmm. Let me go to the next one.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I saw it.
I like this one. I don't know what it is, but just the colors are really cool.
It was almost like a Grateful Dead shirt.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's something for everybody. That's what's kind of nice too. Like there's there's that theme on a lot of the merch, but then they kind of go outside the box on some, so it kind of appeals to a lot of different people, right? A little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah, this one feels like a very safe design. This one, would appeal to, a good cross section. Even a like me, an older set. They could kind of deal with the T-shirt like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and then look, it's the same design but different colored shirt.
Right.
I like,
and I do like the kind of weathered shirt look. That kind of adds to it.
Very vintage and looks kind of heathered a little bit, I guess. These are Crocs. Now, I'm not a Croc fan. I don't really.
I've never even tried a pair of Crocs on, so I have no idea.
You haven't lived until you've lived.
Well, apparently Danny and I are not living then.
I guess.
Yeah, my daughter swears by Crocs. I have a lot of friends that love Crocs, and hey, to each your own. I just never really been into the designer look, but I like the way that Mickey Mouse looks on here. I just don't know that I'd be wearing these clogs. That's all.
It's kind of neat because if you remember last year, it was very cutesy. And I think the Crocs were like purple and everybody was candy corn, right? Everybody had their little costumes. And so it's pretty different from last year.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yep. Then we've got these hats. These hats actually match the Crocs, the same type of Mickey design. I like that. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops, there's here we go. Little stuffies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Are those both Mickey Mouses? I guess they are. One's in the pumpkin, one's out.
Yeah, trying to.
I'm not sure because it looks like the two of them that were on the shirt, and I don't think they would put two Mickeys on the shirt.
Oh,
so one of them is probably Minnie.
Look for the
I don't see a bow.
Yeah, I don't see the eyelashes. That's kind of weird.
I don't see eyelashes or the bow.
Interesting.
Or maybe one's supposed to be like the caretaker. I don't know.
Right, true. We'll have to get some better. We'll have to take a look at those when we're there live.
Yep. Another Spirit jersey.
That's kind of fun. I mean, it's busy, but it's fun. But the same
you buy it?
in the Disneyland. I don't know if I'm a big. I see Spirit jerseys. I'm not.
Yeah, you know what? I only have one Spirit jersey out of all the Spirit jerseys I've ever made. It's from Club 33, and that's the only reason why I have it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, people love Spirit jerseys. Some of them do look cool. To me, it's not a big deal to have. Again, my sister-in-law, and if she was watching right now, she'd be like, "Bob, don't tell everyone." But she loves Spirit jerseys. She collects them like crazy. Those and popcorn buckets. It's her thing. But here, this is the Mickey again that's on the Crocs and that's on the shirt. So it matches.
That pumpkin
These are going
Mickey
to theme.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. With the color scheme and everything, it's similar.
Now this matches the shirt that we were looking at earlier, and it's got the it looks like a Loungefly purse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, theme park casual. You'll look great with this.
What's that?
You'll look great with this.
Yeah. One thing I am noticing though, it's kind of interesting, and if you look at it, you see Happy Mickey, but then if you look at the flames inside the eyes, all of a sudden he gets angry and looks way sinister.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
But I like that. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's interesting when you can. Those are the designs that I like, when there's a slight reveal, that over time, all of a sudden you go, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now I think, let's see, do we sell more merch? Oh, now we're getting to food. Do you want to talk about food or are we going to?
I think that's it for merch. I know there's some ears that came out, but there were some pumpkin ears, but I think they were the ones that we had last year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
I did see some fall ones with a leaf pattern on them, and I think the ears and the Spirit jerseys are kind of the same thing. Some of them go overboard and are kind of loud and outlandish, and then others are a little more, subdued, refined, and minimal. So I think they obviously know that, okay, certain people like this style, certain people like that style. So we're going to have to just kind of bounce back and forth and, meander from one extreme to the other.
So we have a couple of, Noah said Minnie is on the right, the two stuff.
Yeah, if we go, let's go back to that one. There we go. So Minnie's on the right.
And Judy said, all I know is Mickey in the middle of Main Street better look like that black neon Mickey. Wouldn't that be something?
I don't know if they would go that far. It would be cool. I'm not saying that I wouldn't like it necessarily, but I don't know. In the middle of Main Street, it might be a rough go at that one. I think there'd be a lot of fans that would have a little bit to say about that.
Fun.
Only because it's Main Street and the big Mickey pumpkin semi blends with Main Street. You can kind of get it, whereas that other one that looks a little too modern. And
this is not Halloween related, but it's just really good, and the colors kind of went with what we were talking about. But I know it's limited, so I just wanted to remember.
I was gonna say, is that part of like the mansion stuff, or
no?
Oh, it's not.
I just threw something in there that was. It's limited though, so I don't know how long this will be here. But it's
and what are we looking at, Cordy?
This is at Popcorn in DCA. So they're called Cozy Corn, and they have two of them. So this one has hot Cheetos. They roll it in hot Cheetos and all this other yummy stuff. But I just want to say the corn that they have there is amazing. They have the freshest, crispest corn there. So just something that's going away soon. But the colors kind of went with it. And I was like, ooh, let me throw that in because I just had it recently again.
What's the other flavor that they have?
The other one's just more, it has like Oaxaca cheese, and it's more of a
like a typical elote.
Cheeto, so more of an elote, type.
Okay, yeah, because I wouldn't do the hot Cheeto thing, but
it's so good. It's so good, and it's like $6.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
especially if somebody's saying that it's like the best corn they've ever had. So I mean, for $6, that's not a bad deal.
Well, they do have a new one. I haven't had it yet, but over at Cocina Cucamonga, they have a new, oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but they have a new one there too. And then they serve it with the chicharrones, and then, so that came out with the, they have the beer set up to the side now, so that's there, and so something over there. And then this is also San Francisco. Not Halloween related, but it was another item kind of leading off of our last hangout, the karaji. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but that's the chicken sandwich with the garlic chips. So I've almost tried everything. I just haven't tried the udon. But this was really good.
What are the chips again?
Oh,
those were garlic, just like garlic, kind of rice.
Okay, that's what I thought they looked like.
Chip,
I just wanted to make sure in case they were something else. For all I know, it could have been like, sliced cauliflower and whatever.
True. Yeah. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really good.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
There we go. Pot stickers.
Pot stickers.
Guys, yeah. So that's there as well at the Lucky Fortune Cookie.
What's inside the pot stickers? What do we got in there?
Chicken.
Is it pork, chicken?
Yeah.
Veggie.
Okay. Veggie and chicken. I know they got rid of the banh mi, which was vegetarian. So it was on the kids menu, but a lot of people would get it, but they got rid of that. So I think they just have like 1 or 2 items now that are vegetarian. So.
Okay, let's go on to the next thing. Oh, this looks good. Now this is the Haunted Mansion related. Heck yeah.
The
What's this
December churro, and that one's right across from the mansion. So it's supposed to be like one's alive, one's dead kind of thing. So they have the fresh strawberries, and then the other one has the purple sugar, and then the freeze-dried strawberries. And then they drizzle it with what they call donut icing. So, and I was filming her make it just because I wanted to make a reel out of it. So I was like, oh, let me look through there. And so I feel like she did like an even, like she's a little more elaborate with it because I was like, wow, she's really filling that up. But yeah, it was really good.
I thought you were going to say she was like spinning stuff and flipping things around. And
well, I've had somebody
putting on a show.
put Mickey's on it with the whipped cream one time because I was filming her make it.
Okay.
And then she ended up putting, so. But I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. And you know, the picture that they actually put out on the Mickey blog, that looked so appetizing. And seriously, this looks really good too that they handed to you. So you said it was really tasty though?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to try it. That's on my list when I go back to Disneyland.
Do it, Bob.
Yeah, it's got strawberries, so I don't know.
Oh,
I might try it if I get to share it with somebody who, in case I don't like it, they can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
wow,
sorry.
we've got this
That's
one now.
That's the cross section of the sandwich.
Of the other one that you had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Woo.
You got to know what it looks like inside, right?
That is a big sandwich. Look at that.
Yeah, there's
That looks
slaw
good.
there and a mayo and just
Well, that does it for our slides for the whatchamacallit.
Yeah, and Garrett
Food
said
and merch.
30-minute line for that
Merch?
churro. It was because they were selling the sippers there too. So just be forewarned.
All right.
Thanks
So
for
let's,
that info.
I
yeah.
was actually waiting. Yeah, I was waiting much longer because people were buying the sippers, not the churros.
Right. Okay, so we'll move on to the next topic. And our next topic is one that's near and dear to my heart. Fantasmic is delayed until 2024, spring of 2024. So just let's just get into, what are your thoughts about it? What do you guys think are the reasons for it to be delayed, even though we don't know anything for sure? What would you speculate as the reason why they're delaying that long? And when they've already announced that when it comes back, there will not be a dragon figure.
That's it. I'm leaving. Ladies first. I'll let Cordy go ahead and chime in first.
I am not sure because once they said that the dragon would not be coming back even next year, that kind of threw my theories out the window of, why we were waiting for it after Labor Day. The only thing, that I can think of is just logistically right now, everything they have going on, it's, maybe just not the same Disney kind of world behind the scenes that it used to be. So, they're just working on whatever other projects, right? Tiana's, the restaurant's going up. We've got the entertainment on the river. Hopefully we're getting more, right, as we kind of go on through the year. But that was the only thing I could think of. We're still waiting for the treehouse. So I thought, maybe it's just one of those things like it's back burner and we'll do some other little things until next year. But I can't think of like a real reason.
Barry Place, what do you think?
Well, coming from the human resources side here, part of what had happened. Obviously, a couple of people went to the hospital. When someone goes to the hospital, stays overnight, OSHA gets involved, and it becomes a huge investigation. So, even though we kept hearing the speculation that it was going to come back in September, given my background and experience with OSHA-related events, usually it takes a lot longer for them to do these investigations and before they're able to go back to what they were doing. So I did not think that it was going to come back. I was hoping the rumors are true that it was coming back in September, but my gut instinct told me that it probably was not going to happen. I'm really disappointed that it's not coming back till 2024. I honestly feel that they probably thought, well, we can't get things back going by September. We got Halloween around the corner, then we got Christmas, so we'll probably just postpone it until next year. That's probably one of the reasons why they decided to do it. I'm speculating, obviously. This is just my take on the whole thing. Obviously, I would love to see it come back because to me, there's a big piece that's missing for that nighttime entertainment at Disneyland. And obviously, I totally understand that maybe they couldn't get things going back in B mode or whatnot. But regardless, what I'm hoping, though, is I'm hoping that they'll do what they need to do to bring the show back so it'll come back in its glory. Obviously, they've said that the dragon's not coming back, which is disappointing that, Murphy will not be back in any form at the moment. But who knows? Maybe they're working on something that will be better than, what the dragon previously was. And they're going to include that. Or, maybe they're going to do some test runs to bring the show back and then, surprise everyone come next spring or summer and say, hey, now we've got this added to the show. Or who knows, maybe they're planning on kind of shaking up the show and changing up a little bit, the way the characters, come out and whatnot. Not that I want a reimagining of Fantasmic, but at the same time, they do change the shows from time to time, like the fireworks. So maybe they'll, mix it up a little bit. Who knows? Those are my speculations. I just think that it really was an OSHA thing. And then obviously they decide, well, we got Halloween, Christmas. We'll just delay it till next year. But I am disappointed because seriously, I was so hoping it was going to come back.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you look at it and like you said, the investigation probably hindered them even being able to go and start to doing repairs the way they needed to. They were probably able to get just certain safety things done, but there may have been other things that they weren't allowed to touch quite yet until the investigation could really take a look at it, which for all we know might have taken 2 to 3 months at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that aspect. But then the parks are, is anybody not going to the park because Fantasmic isn't there? The parks are still full. Why go through all the expense, rushing a timeline, paying people overtime possibly to get it back when, hey, we got a full park anyways, guys. Let's, like Cordy said, let's get them working on these other things. And once we get those things to a certain point, we could come back and get Fantasmic up and running. Because you figure not only does the repair cost money, but then when you're putting on Fantasmic, that's, I think I want to say it was like 100 performers and technicians.
It's a lot.
That's a lot of people doing 2 shows a night. So that's a lot of savings that you have right there, from an unfortunate circumstance, of course. It's not like they said, hey, let's, set the dragon on fire so we could get out of paying people. It's not what they did. But if they're going to, have it be this situation, it's like, why not take a little bit of time? Nobody's, at our throats about this right now. We can save a few $1,000s, put it into these other projects, get those things done, a little bit quicker maybe. So I don't necessarily fault them because that's a good business decision, and as much as we love Disney and it's got that wonderful feels all around it for us, it's a business. They need to make money. Otherwise, they're not going to be around for much longer. So it's one of those ones where I'm like, I'm torn. It's like, yeah, good business decision, but dang it, I want to see Fantasmic.
I know. Noah says, I bet there's going to be a surprise to Fantasmic that Disney expects the unexpected. So who knows? Maybe Noah's right. That would be great.
Yeah, I would love to be surprised with a new scene, a new way that they do the ending that I'm like, oh, I would never have thought of that, and that actually fits perfect. I would love for that to happen.
So here, Alan says, I'm thinking they ought to do a Tiana Bayou type show since those jazz singers are so fun. Well,
the jazz singers. Okay, Queenie and the Jambalaya Jazz Band. The first night that I got to hear them, oh my God, it was, I want to say we were in line for Pirates when it was going on. And in line for Pirates, you could already sense the atmosphere change all over New Orleans Square. Mm-hmm. It was a party atmosphere. It was upbeat. You felt like, I felt like as if I could peek over the railing, to be able to see, I was going to see people dancing. That's how energetic it was. It was fantastic. My only beef, why did it take so long? It should have been, that should have been there basically beginning of June.
So I have a question on that. Do you think it wasn't supposed to start yet, but then the thing with Fantasmic happened, so they then move this up? Like, was it supposed to happen closer to Tiana?
I think this was a replacement. This is a filler. I think it took them that long to decide that, okay, Fantasmic ain't happening. We got to put something else in place.
Right. Do you think
And
it
I
was
think
something they had planned? Like, you know what I mean? Future, like, oh, we've got this set up for next year, and they just moved it up.
no,
Because
I
of,
think this is completely, oh my God, Fantasmic is down. We need to find something. And basically what they finally, I'm sure somebody already had the idea. It was just a matter of when were they going to be able to pull the trigger and say, yes, let's do this. And that's why I said, for me, it just took too long to get to have this. This should have been in place basically Memorial Day weekend. I mean, Fantasmic went down April 22nd, I think it was, something like that. A month, you should have been able to say, okay, regardless if we get this thing up and running again this summer, get this jazz band going, get some entertainment on the rivers. Because like I said, it is absolutely perfect. It is exactly what they needed. You know, it's almost a disappointment that they only do 3 shows. I wish they would do, another show a little bit later, but obviously they're looking at, crowd patterns, and it's like, well, to do a show like that, pay the performers, keep them, in the park or whatever until, 10:30 to do a late show for, maybe 100 people that are watching. All right, I get it. But it's fantastic. I love that they did it. It's exactly what the park needs. And I think they should try to actually expand that and get that in other places of the park in the evenings.
Yeah, and I think the crowds have been filling up more now that everybody's, starting to catch wind of it. Because I think you and I both, Theme Park Casual, were there the first night.
Yeah, I think it was the first.
When I
was
saw
it
you, like,
I know. Yeah, I know it was. I know it was opening weekend for it. I can't remember if they started on a Friday or what. Because I know, for me, I was there on Sunday, so I think that was.
Oh yeah, so it might have been maybe just because certain people I saw filming that night. I'm like, oh wow, this is like it was the first time I saw it. But yeah, I've noticed that since then, like the crowds have been growing, like to see the jazz band, to see the band perform.
Yeah,
So
the next time
cool.
I was there on, I think it was Wednesday, and the crowd was roughly about 3 or 4 people deep along the entire edge of the rivers. Not to mention the people that were standing and sitting on the concrete and whatever. So it is starting to pull people that way, which again, that's what they needed. I don't understand what took them so long to do this, because it was an obvious fix, an obvious, placeholder, but I don't know what the logistics were that were preventing it from happening, because I can't imagine that, us fans would think of something like that, and the Disney brain trust was clueless. I don't think that was the case. I don't think it was that they didn't want to. It was just a matter of the logistics of it and wonder, are we going to be able to get Fantasmic up and running? Do we need to, lock in a band for a couple of months and then, basically 3 weeks later tell them, okay, sorry, you're out because we got Fantasmic back. But, like I said, there was probably a lot of, logistics and red tape for them to have to deal with to get it up and running. But I just wish they would have done it sooner.
Yeah, it's helped with fireworks crowds, that's for sure. Because no one was going that way. I mean, it's that's such a nice spot to watch fireworks. But
yeah, my wife actually preferred it over there because you were completely away from any crowds. She was like, oh, you could just come over here, relax, sit. You get to see the projections really nice, and the fireworks are, you get to see all the fireworks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nice spot.
So you've got some footage, right?
Yeah. So for those of you watching that have not seen the show that Theme Park Casual and Cordy and I are talking about, this is it right here. Oh, I'm not sure. Hold on.
And this is the Heavenly Jambalaya Jazz Band.
I mean, just that little snippet, fantastic. In fact, it's like, if that's not moved over to Tiana's Palace when that opens, I will be disappointed.
Yeah, I think that's a great addition. And I'm like you, I don't know why it took so long, but it was a great idea for them to come up with it. It was nice. I mentioned it last couple Park Streamers Hangouts that we talked about how I love being able to go on the Mark Twain late at night and go around the rivers of America, because we normally don't get to do that because of Fantasmic. But this is great too. And the fact that they're doing the fireworks from there, and they have, they have the water, the colorful water right behind the band playing in the rivers. I mean, that is just, it makes you feel like you're part of the fun. It's exciting. It's new. It's different. It's something that I think they definitely needed. And I'm glad they kind of went with it. I mean, they've done things like this before, for the Halloween events, back when Disneyland used to have the Halloween events, and they had the, singing ghosts on the boats. But this is really cool, really fun. I mean, and like you said, it's drawing crowds, and it's something that I think people want to see.
Yeah, it's a great addition. I think somebody said, why didn't they just put them on the Mark Twain and have them go by? And I was like, I think they would have. The way they do it now is the raft goes back and forth a couple of times, so everybody kind of gets a front row view for a little bit, and you get it more than once. With the Mark Twain, they would have had to move the boat so slowly in order to get a 15-minute set. I think I think that would have been a little weird. But
it is quite a long set. Like it's 15 minutes, and it's, I think, 4.
It might even be more than 15. It might be closer to 20-25, because I think they go on at 9:05.
And then it's like we have 8 minutes till fireworks.
Yeah. There's only a few minutes till fireworks after they're done. So it could be like a 20-25 minute set, and they do that 3 times a night. It's spectacular. I love that they did it. It's a simple, it's nothing super big and flashy. It just is. It's the right thing. It was the right thing to put in place. So,
sorry about that.
No worries. So moving on, we're gonna stick a little bit in the New Orleans theme, and it was announced, I think just earlier this last week, that Disneyland will now be offering beer and selected alcoholic drinks in 3 additional restaurants. Restaurants being Cafe Orleans, Riverbell Terrace, and Carnation Cafe. So I think we kind of see where Berry Place's opinion lies on that. Cordy, what do you think of it?
Ooh, that's a tough one, because I know there's a lot of people that, are happy about this, but going back to kind of what you were talking about, just the whole like Disney feel, I don't know. It's a tough one. I get it, kind of, but I don't know if I'm in full agreement.
All right.
Yeah.
And that coming from you had a drink at Blue Bayou on your birthday, didn't you?
I had a glass of wine.
Yep.
Yeah. But see, but if you notice where the drinks, they're not just,
Right.
everywhere. They're only in kind of these sit down restaurants, the
Right.
Little pricier restaurants. So that, I guess that's where I'm like, okay, that's a plus, where you're like, you're going to be sitting there, you're going to be there a while and having a meal, right, for the most part. But it still feels weird.
Yeah.
We've got Oga's, but that's off planet. So
Yeah. Berry Place. What about your thoughts?
So I know I'm going thumbs up with this, but with a caveat, right? So I agree with Cordy. I mean, the whole thing was Walt Disney never wanted to, have alcohol within the parks. It was pretty much, just Club 33. Obviously, it was expanded to the Blue Bayou, and then eventually it was expanded to Galaxy's Edge. And I was kind of like, when that first happened, I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. But I'm like, oh well, they never had alcohol really. In the parks, because that's not what Disney wanted. But at the same time, we could get plenty of alcohol over at DCA, and that was fine by me. I think that when they opened Oga's Cantina, I was kind of like, hey, this is kind of cool. Again, it's a sit down. It's not like you're walking through the park with alcohol. And that's what all the restaurants are. You have to go to a specific restaurant to get the alcoholic drink, and you sit there, you drink, and that's it. So to me, it's fine. I'm excited that they are expanding it. Obviously things change throughout the years of the park. Who knows? I don't know if Disney would be rolling over in his grave about that because he never really wanted that. But at the same time, I think it's a fine addition, and I think most people are going to be okay with it. Again, some people have the feelings that no, they should not be doing this. I can't believe they're adding it to 3 more restaurants. Why do they need to have it? But for me, I typically don't drink a lot of alcohol when I go to the parks, but it's nice every once in a while to, have a beer or have a glass of wine or a specialty cocktail drink that they may be serving. So it's nice to enjoy and have, but really when I'm going to theme parks, I'm there for all the crazy fun and, stuff that you can buy, more so than just, drinking all the alcoholic drinks. But I don't really have a big huge issue with it. I'm kind of like, that's kind of cool, and if I want to have something besides a mint julep, I can do that now, so that's cool.
Yeah, I'm right in line with you, Cordy, where I don't know about it, and my reasoning is the creep of it expanding. We're not very far off from there being a cerveceria in Frontierland, right where where they have the turkey legs, you can grab a beer at the same time. And I think if that happens, and I actually have to say when that happens, I'm fully expecting it to happen. I think that I'm worried at that point that there's a shift that happens that I don't want to say reduces the magic, but basically pulls some of that magic away, makes it a little bit harder to fully realize everything that Disneyland is. And I say that only because I have certain thoughts when it comes to alcohol. I'm not a teetotaler in that, anybody who drinks and blah, 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 or I don't drink at all. I have a beer, I think once every maybe 3 or 4 years if somebody buys me one. So, but there's just something that goes with it. And it's on a, how shall I say, a behind the scenes level that can adjust the atmosphere in a place. So right now it's, like you said, it's behind the walls of an establishment where you have to sit down, pricier food. So it kind of eliminates some people, very limited seating. So it eliminates even more people. So it's kind of been a walled off sort of a thing. You really have to, dig it out and be willing to spend in order to get it. So yeah, there's that too, where, that alone, I don't understand how people afford it, but hey, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Again, it's one of those things where I look at it and go, well, Disney's a business.
Yeah, true.
But at the same time, what business are you in? Because there's certain things that you're giving up from this side of your business to get this part of your business. And I would be the type to caution that sort of thinking.
So I'm on the same page with you guys as far as I like to see it, stay at the restaurants. I don't need to see it, like you said, getting a turkey leg out and about, and alcoholic drink at the same time. However, when they had opened up DCA and they had allow alcohol drinks to be sold, and you can get them right over there at the I forget, it's by the Trattoria place. What's it called? Is it wine something? Anyhow, sorry.
I used to do Mondavi, yeah.
Yes, I know. But the thing is, when they did that, I was kind of like, well, how's this going to go? Because they don't really do this in Disneyland, and this is typically not a Disney thing. Is it going to be a bunch of people buying drinks and getting drunk and going hog wild and crazy? And I don't really see that happening over in DCA. Typically people go over there, they get a drink, they walk around. You see a lot of alcoholic drinks, especially during the Food and Wine Festival. I personally have not seen a lot of people get drunk or intoxicated at the parks and overdo it. yes, every once in a while you see those videos or whatnot of people going crazy. That could be other reasons, not just alcohol. But I honestly feel that with Disneyland, yes, I'd like to see it just stay behind the restaurants. But it has been okay and successful over at DCA, and it hasn't been a huge issue for DCA. And so I'm hoping that if and when it does happen to Disneyland, not that I want it to, it's like DCA where it's not a huge ordeal. But I will say I was kind of surprised at how it's worked out over there, because I wasn't sure what to expect when they did that, and it's been okay. And like I said, typically most people, I mean, when they have the Food and Wine Festival, obviously people are like, let me buy a bunch of food and alcohol and stuff. But I don't see a lot of people going hog wild and crazy. Plus, they don't give you a whole lot of alcohol when it comes to the Food and Wine Festival. However, you can, buy a nice sized glass of wine or, beer or, cider or something like that, in DCA. Yeah. But I get your point, theme park casual. I totally understand where you're coming from. And I don't want to see that type of atmosphere into the parks either. But I don't think it's going to be that way, and I hope I'm right. But hey, time will tell.
Yeah, that's that. I can't argue that DCA has not been much of an issue when it comes to that. So it's one of those. I think it's the tradition of it. There was that. I don't know the right word for it, but Disneyland was unique in that aspect. It's like they held themselves to a certain standard, and it feels like that's getting chipped away at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know. DCA just feels more of, because of the setting, right? You're at the wharf, you're at the pier, so it kind of goes, and it's a little more. I feel like it's a little more open space at DCA. I mean, to keep it confined to restaurants would probably be best, because to stand in the line for Pinocchio and somebody's got a beer in their hand, no thank you. Just because it's not, I mean, I've had drinks spilled on me at DCA, so there's those little things that you're just like, I don't know. You think of some areas where, do I want to be there even as an adult or with my kids, and then here comes somebody with a drink. It might be an accident, but just the point of like, I don't know. I just don't know personally, like, how it mixes walking around, I guess.
Right.
With
right.
It, into all the different lands. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Rogue Attraction says Epcot is a bunch of wine moms going around. And then Rick Reuter said that Disney has gone south. So, not that. Sorry, I was looking for this one. Nope, that's not the one I was looking for. Where was it?
Well, Jeremy's got one too.
There we go. Actually, get in the park to buy enough to get people drunk. Yeah. No, I thought there was another one. Where was it? Oh, Jeremy said Epcot's got a drinking problem. Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? People are going to drink. There's always. I mean, you guys see this. There's empty containers in the parking lot. So that's where.
I mean, I used to go to Disneyland, and I had a buddy that he'd have to go over to Denny's across the street just to go get a beer, and I was like, I think you got a problem, man. You're going to Denny's to get a beer. Not even go, to the liquor store. He went to Denny's so he could sit down and have a.
Hey, maybe it was a cheap beer, okay?
It was the company.
Oh, that's crazy.
The company.
Oh, that's funny. That is too funny.
So, all right. We're going to move on from this one, and we're going to another big kind of announcement, and we have no idea what this may entail for the theme park industry. It's going to be the kind of thing where, once it's done, we'll have to see how well they pull this off. But there was an announcement this week of a $2 billion theme park coming to, I believe, Oklahoma, was it?
That's correct. Yep.
So, Barry Place, you've got some information for us, so let's go ahead and pull it up. This is called American Heartland Theme Park.
Yeah. So we have a couple videos we want to show you. The first one, it kind of tells you about the park. I may be stopping the video so we can chime in from time to time to talk about what they're discussing. And then we're going to show you a video that kind of takes you through basically it's like a walkthrough of the park. So you can see what they have planned for everyone. So with that, let's talk about American's Heartland theme park.
To American Heartland.
We're bringing a family destination here in the Veneta area on Route 66.
What we're bringing here is often not found anyplace except on the east and west coast.
Where else to put American Heartland than in America's Heartland?
Our theme park is scheduled to open in the fall of 2026. The theme park is going to be based on different lands. Liberty Village, as you enter the park through the main entrance, the Great Plains area, the Bayou Bay, Big Timber Falls, the Stony Point Harbor, and then Electropolis. We have a 4-star hotel with a boardwalk that will be there. We have custom designed rides, a slew of attractions, and live shows that'll be going on throughout the day.
So I just want to stop it right there. So they just showed a few of their attractions that they're going to be doing, which look pretty cool. One obviously looks just like Soarin', and it's called Barnstormers, which is kind of cool. They have a log ride, which is kind of like, what we used to have for Splash Mountain, and obviously Tiana's, Bayou Adventure that's coming out. But this one looked like it had a Bigfoot, which is kind of neat. And so they had an undersea one that looked like a submarine type one. So they definitely have different types of rides and attractions, but at the same time, it looks very familiar to what we've seen before, right? Sorry, this is going to talk now about the RV theme park or RV park they have.
And then we also have an RV park campground resort that we'll be developing. That park is going to have 300 cabins and 750 RV spots, along with a lot of amenities that will be in the park.
This project is going to add thousands of jobs immediately. It's going to add sales tax revenue, hotel motel tax revenue that's going to help our city. It's going to help our fire department. It's going to help our police department, our streets.
We're here to develop something that's going to help all the people, not only in northeastern Oklahoma, but in all the surrounding state and all through the Midwest.
It's set up perfect on Route 66, right by Interstate 44, Highway 60. The Jefferson Highway runs right here in front of it.
It is definitely family friendly. That's our whole objective. We want it to be the heart and soul of entertainment, something that they can afford and not spend their life savings to come spend a week with us.
We can all see it now. We can see the roller coasters. We can see the RV park, the cabins, the pools.
I'm excited to welcome you to the next big attraction right here on historic Route 66 in Northeast Oklahoma.
Okay.
Couldn't help but notice the little not have to spend their life savings comment. Was obviously a jab at Walt Disney World.
Yeah. Well, look, they're saying this is going to be as big as Walt Disney World with the land that they have and comparable. But think about it. This is going to be in Oklahoma. So where this is actually located is an hour away, I think, from the nearest airport. It's in Vintner, Oklahoma. It's right next to Route 66. So obviously it's right in the middle of American Heartland, which is that's what it's called. It seems to be out in the middle of nowhere. But then again, theme parks have been built out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, look at Six Flags Magic Mountain. That's out in the, middle of kind of nowhere, where it was built originally. But it looks cool to me. A little bit about this is that, there's only one person who's financing this whole thing, and that's Mr. Bricknell, who apparently owned a lot of chains of Pizza Huts back in the day. Back in the 70s, and he had over 1,000 different restaurants, sold them off, and obviously has billions of dollars that he can actually spend $2 billion on, the actual American Heartland theme park.
Yeah, somebody pointed out right in Tornado Alley.
Yeah,
that was my thought. I have to say that was what went through my head. I was like, will they get tornadoes?
They do.
Because, yeah, I mean, part of the reason why Disneyland and, well, Disney World are so popular is they're in well, I guess hurricanes for Florida, but I don't think Disney World has been hit direct by any with major damage or anything like that. So positioning and location is going to be key. So,
well, you know what's interesting about this too is that you've got everything so either on the East Coast or West Coast, right? I mean, there are some things in the Midwest, up by Michigan. We got Cedar Fair or Cedar Point, and other parks, but nothing really down in that area. So
yeah, I think the closest would be probably Silver Dollar City, that's nationally recognized.
Right. So I'm okay. I mean, obviously, you can see from that video that we just showed, it's out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing on that land. It's pretty flat right now. Hopefully it'll be a good location. I'm sure they'll have, considering it's Tornado Alley area, they will have, some precautions, in place in case something like that does happen, heaven forbid. But thankfully, kind of like, with Florida, they get hurricanes, and thankfully, because they're so far inland, they typically don't get hit. And if they do have a hurricane that's going to hit nearby, they usually shut down the parks, but hopefully that won't be the case. Cordy, do you want to say anything about this park?
Oh, I was looking because Alan had said, he said, isn't Bricknell the Atari guy? So I was like, oh, is he? I wasn't sure.
No, I don't remember him being part of the Atari guy. Maybe he was. I don't know. I think you're thinking of a different Bricknell. Because this guy
Nolan
actually,
Bushnell. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Bushnell. There we go, Bushnell.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. I mean, it's tough. I mean, here I'm someone who has not been to any other Disney parks because I love Disneyland. Like these are my home parks, like literally. So it's like, would I go? Chances probably not. So, I mean, I think it's a pretty neat idea, and by what they're showing, right, their concept of what they want to build there sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be, I mean, it's something that if it goes as planned, how many people are going to have the job market, right? It's going to bring jobs to people that are in that area. It's just going to bring it could bring really good things there. So in that respect, I think it's a wonderful idea. I just and then people wouldn't have to travel so far, maybe, right? If it's comparable, it doesn't have Mickey Mouse, but it's comparable in other ways, as far as because we've, like you said, we've got all of these other parks, right? Theme parks that people can go to with the thrill rides, So this is more like a Disneyland where you just have so many different things going on, right? It could be a good thing so that people don't have to travel and spend their life savings because they have to come out to California or out to Florida and spend, thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yes. So our friend D Spirit, he says the heat and no nearby hospital, sewage, and other municipal support will be challenging. I think though, if they're going to build this theme park there, I'm sure they're going to add a hospital. I'm sure they'll add all the sewage they need. I agree. It's probably going to be challenging at first. I mean, you're talking about a really small town that they're building in, but who knows? Hey, maybe they'll be able to do what Disney did in Florida. Who knows?
True.
Yeah, well, let's check out the walkthrough video where we get to actually see what this park is about, because then we can have a little bit more discussion.
Sounds good. So obviously we got the front entrance, so we could sweep into Liberty Village. Liberty Village obviously looks very familiar to Main Street USA. There's something that was, I don't know if you saw it, but it's just starting to be faded out right now. But there's something that was blurred. I don't know if they were calling this something else or had some other name for this area, but it's been blurred out. I also noticed that they changed the name of Electro City to Electropolis. So that's changed as well. And obviously this is a work in progress. And I'm sure this concept video was created a long time ago, but you can see it looks very, very familiar to Main Street USA.
Yeah. And it's kind of weird because that the part that we're looking at right now, it looks like the rendering isn't finished.
Yeah.
Because there were other pieces of art that kind of showed a little more detail. And what I thought was cool about Liberty Street is it's different eras. So you go down and you walk in and it feels like it might be the 40s or 50s. And then there's others that feel like a little bit, even earlier than that. So it's kind of a mix of like a Buena Vista Street and Main Street.
Mm-hmm. And you will notice that as we go through this video, so where it's yellow for Liberty Village, there are certain areas that are not completely rendered. So it's going to be like that, but most of what you're going to see is rendered, and it looks pretty cool. So let's go ahead and continue on. So I want to stop it there. So this area is called the Great Plains, and boom, there you see Charlotte's Web. So obviously, they are definitely talking about or showing that they may have some sort of IPs there. And that would be kind of cool for the family and kids to have a Charlotte's Web. I don't know if it's going to be an attraction or if that's just the barn or who knows what it's going to be, but at least you can see that they're planning on having some sort of other IPs in this park besides their own, brand new IPs. So this looks interesting. It's called First Stories Theater. Theme Park Casual and Cordy, what does that look like to you? Because that looks very familiar to something we've seen before.
Yeah, it looks like Mystery Lodge.
It looks like Mystery Lodge, exactly, from Knott's Berry Farm. And who knows, maybe it's going to be, but it looks pretty cool. I mean, I would love to see something like that. Unfortunately, Mystery Lodge has been down for many, many years at Knott's Berry Farm. They're not doing it anymore, but it was a great concept. And maybe they're going to do the same thing, or maybe, because it does look like an actual theater, like they're performing something on stage. So it could be that as well, kind of like where they have the theater for Tale of the Lion King at the moment. That's what they're showing at Disneyland. But yeah, I like it. It's kind of cool. At least they have a theater here as well. And then, of course, this is like the Frontierland for Disneyland for this park. So Barnstormers is the one that looks like it's going to be the similar type of ride that we have at DCA, which is called Soarin' around the world. So who knows? It looks exactly like that's what they're going to do. But again, this is all just concepts. So this looks cool because they actually do have a wooden roller coaster they built called the Jackalope Coaster. It looks really fun to me. And,
it looks like a good coaster.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of Ghost Rider. I mean, Ghost Rider is an amazing wooden roller coaster. So anything that's like that. I will say the one thing that you see at other theme parks other than Disneyland is that they have a lot of wooden roller coasters, and a lot of them are a lot of fun. Fly by the seat of your pants type coasters. So this looks like an exciting roller coaster to me. Okay, so this is where it throws me off just a little bit. You got a pirate stunt show. So no Pirates of the Caribbean ride, but they got a pirate stunt show. At least they have entertainment and they have a show. I think this is going to fit into the Bayou area, kind of like our Pirates of the Caribbean. And maybe that was the whole point of it. Kind of, I don't know, maybe it's going to be kind of reminiscent of a Waterworld type show or what they currently have at SeaWorld with the mermaid attraction or show. But I thought this was kind of interesting that they're actually having a pirate stunt show.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny that, okay, so we got Bayou, let's put some pirates in there.
Boy, what does that remind you of?
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue on. Yeah, I will say the Bayou Bay looks fun to me. This does remind me of, the Bayou, and it looks like it's going to be a fun place to go shopping, eating, experiencing some attractions. So again, not sure how the pirate thing's going to fit in because look, this looks a little kind of modern in this area, but who knows? Maybe they're going to have, parts of the Bayou Bay that are kind of modern, maybe not. So I don't know what to expect. Again, it's all concept, but it does look kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the concept art is fantastic so far.
Yeah. I mean, look at the little alligator there. Or crocodile, whatever he's supposed to be. All right, let's
It's a gator.
Gator. There we go. Gator. So I want to stop it right there. So this is one of the areas I'm most excited about. I don't know what it is, but this concept art just really draws me in. It's called Big Timber Falls. It's going to be their, log flume ride that they have. It just looks fun. It looks exciting. It kind of reminds me of Everest in a way, but a water ride. And I don't know, just to me, it looks like, hey, this is something I want to go check out and try. This looks like a lot of fun. And from this concept art, it doesn't look like it, but when you see the video and you see some of the other pictures, it looks like that's a big, huge drop, not some 50-foot drop. That looks like it's, 100 feet or more drop, which is kind of cool. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, like I said, the concept art for what I've seen looks fantastic. The thing that I'm going to have to wait and see is what does it feel like when you're there?
Right.
It's one thing to be able to do concept art, but then do they build it to get really close to the concept art, or this was all our wild imagination and blue sky thinking, and when it came down to it, budget required that the mountain wasn't quite so tall and didn't have enough money for quite so many trees, and you end up with, like people are saying in the chat, a Six Flags. Where things don't really feel like you're transitioning from one land to another. It's just kind of all mishmash and, I guess we're in the city now. Kind of, I guess this is the Bayou, but if they can pull it off, because the website, there are some names that are all, there's lots of Walt Disney Imagineering names involved.
Right.
With this.
Right.
So,
we'll definitely talk about that in a moment.
I think, it's going to be the money, though. What's the timeline, right, that they're kind of looking at. And as we all know, right, any construction, any type of, you're going to run into snags. So
exactly.
Time will tell on this one.
Yeah, well, and you brought up a good point, Danny, because look, I was so excited to see, the Calico Rapids opening up at Knott's Berry Farm. They touted the whole Bigfoot at the end, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be this big, huge Bigfoot, and it's going to be awesome. And it's this scrawny little thing that sounds fierce, but doesn't look very fierce. And it was a big disappointment. So you never know what it's going to be. You see the concept art, you're like, yes, this is great. But again, you're right. And who knows? I mean, $2 billion is a lot of money to build a park, but who knows? Maybe, maybe they'll run out of budget, or maybe all that money will not be spent on the park, or maybe they will change things. I mean, look at Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Look how many times that has changed in concept leading up to now. So,
Yeah.
All right, let's continue on. So this is called Stony Point Harbor. Very cool. I love the scenery of this, and it's very reminiscent of. I mean, it looks like a lake, but it looks like it should be on the ocean. I'm not sure. I mean, you got the lighthouse and everything, so I'm assuming it's supposed to be like on the ocean, which is kind of funny because it's American Heartland. Yet they're showing this, but then again, I like the whole concept art of this, and I think it'll bring, a new. I don't know. Just it'll bring some, kind of different. What am I trying to say? It's going to bring something different to the park.
Yeah.
So in addition to the RV park that's going to have 750 RV locations, as well as 300 cabins, they're going to have 300 rooms in this luxury hotel they're building that looks like it's going to be here on the waterfront as part of the park too. So that's kind of cool. Ooh, they're going to have a nighttime spectacular.
Yeah.
All right. Woo. Let's hope it's not like SeaWorld's. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
No, this one's going to celebrate America. They're not even going to worry about any other countries. It's going to be all America.
Yeah.
And it's there on the bay, right? Like where the backdrop is what we were
This is the lighthouse, yeah.
Lighthouse.
Right. Well, look, if you look in the water, that's the wall of water that they're going to be projecting onto, and that's pretty cool. So it looks like something that's similar to a Fantasmic with fireworks.
That lighthouse is acting like their castle.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. But I like the concept art. It looks nice. It looks like it'll be fun. To be honest with you, I don't care that if they copy any other theme parks like Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm or what else? Silver Dollar City and et cetera, Dollywood. I think that, as long as they just execute everything properly, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Tesla Tower, and this is Electropolis. They actually originally called it Electro City, but they've changed the name of it. But this kind of looks cool. Very much reminiscent of what's that restaurant there at Disney Springs? I'm trying to think of, but it's kind of reminiscent of that. But I like it, and it looks like they got some pretty cool attractions and a roller coaster that's around this land. Okay.
All right.
So this is what you were talking about earlier, Theme Park Casual, about some of the people who are participating. You want to talk about them a little bit?
Well, you could just look at the resumes right there, where you've got Walt Disney Imagineering ride engineer 30 years, Walt Disney Imagineering special effects 20 years, Walt Disney Imagineering concept artist 35 years, Walt Disney World Operations 43 years, Walt Disney Operations 42 years, Disneyland International 40 years. Obviously, there's a lot of Disney DNA in American Heartland, so that gives you hope if these are, people that were part of Disneyland or Disney World, Disney Company. If they were around and, they were calling the shots and learning in the 90s when Disney was just firing on all cylinders and building like crazy and wowing you like you wouldn't believe, then there's reason to have some real hope for this type of a park. Now, it always comes down to execution, and that's going to rely on budget. And, like Cordy brought up, during construction, you're always going to be hitting those snags and things are going to go, out of whack at certain points. So this looks like it would be a step up from like the Dollywood and Silver Dollar City, but I don't see it quite as a Disneyland, Disney World rival necessarily. It might be closer to a Universal rival, but there's parts of it that I'm just kind of like that. It just doesn't feel like it's quite at that upper echelon. It's like just that maybe one level down. So that's just my initial reaction, and that's looking at halfway rendered fly-throughs and some bits and pieces of concept art. So, but that's just my gut feeling, is that it's going to be probably one level below Disney quality.
Well, I mean, it's great that they were able to at least, gather up all of these great minds together to, however long they'll be on the project, right? At least if they can, even if they gave them a jump start, and if, people start to kind of fall off of this list, but you get that, you're going to get something from them. And like you said, it's just such a high bar in general to match Disney, right? Any of the Disney parks. So, but I like the fact that they seem to be that's their goal, right? They're shooting for this, right? That's what they want. So that's what you have to do. And then if you're, like you said, in between kind of a Universal type and Disney, hey, that's I would call that successful. And that's a lot of land to develop.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I thought was interesting too, is it this section? Let's see. No, sorry, give me a sec. Oh yeah. So here. So this is called the Mansion Entertainment Group, right? So it's American Heartland theme park, the Three Ponies RV park and campground. And then here you got the Mansion Theater for Performing Arts. You got Mansion Animation, Mansion Sound, Mansion Film and Television, Mansion Distribution, Mansion Studios. Oh, and a musical celebration and Ozark Mountain Symphony. So clearly, it looks like they're trying to build a Disney type company. With all the things that they have into this theme park. I think it's funny how they're calling it Mansion. I don't know if they're if it's homage to the Haunted Mansion or not, but it's really interesting to see that they have their own studio, film, television, animation, and to my knowledge, they don't have anything yet. So maybe it's something that they're building out of this theme park.
Well, and I've always said, when it comes to something like a rogue, upstart kind of a contender, if you will, you got to be careful with them, because you never know when it's going to be, hey, they're the next Pixar. Right. And they've already got their sights set on having a theme park. If Pixar would have started off saying, you know what, no, we don't want to become part of anybody. We want to do our own thing, and we're going to build our own theme park. What would that have been like?
Right.
So if if they can pull this off, this could be massive. You know, they're saying all the right things. You know, they've got their sights set on, you know, the big boys, obviously. If they can pull it off, it will literally send shockwaves through the theme park industry, because it's going to be pulling people away from the coast. And I didn't see anything that represented California in that park. The closest thing you could get is maybe the Redwoods, if that. But that I kind of pictured as a little bit more Pacific Northwest.
Right.
You know, so there was nothing about beaches as far as, you know, like Florida or Southern California beaches.
Well,
so they are literally
Heartland.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean,
New York, right?
There was no big city aspect other than maybe Electropolis.
Right.
So you can see who the target is and what they're going for, which is somewhat in direct contrast of where the Disney company is going. And I think like I said, if they can pull this off, it would be very interesting, because they're trying to tap into that old school patriotism. So,
well, the Mad Hatter and Friends says, I've worked with pros and I'm sadly predicting it's a flop without major draws to it. Well, I don't know. They had Charlotte's Web. Actually, I can't say like my daughter.
And that's definitely a good point. But if the creatives are really good, they'll be able to create stories that endear themselves to you. I mean, I look at Knott's Berry Farm, and you know, they reintroduced Whittles the Prospector, and I love him. I want him to have his own dark ride. I want him in the park more. And then when they did Fiesta Village, they've got the Alebrijes, just statues. And I fell in love with those. So if it's done well, you're going to get people that want to have the merchandise. You're going to have people that want to, you know, that attach themselves to the characters and the stories and the experiences that they had in the park. So it could be done well. Again, it's the execution. It's like, it looks great, it looks pretty, but like Mad Hatter said, you know, if there's nothing to draw you in, if the emotion isn't there, if the connection to the experiences aren't there, yeah, it's going to be a flop. Because I mean, nobody's going to book a trip to Oklahoma to see that. It's kind of a neat park.
Well, I think too, you know what it seemed, well, just my first thought on it. So there are families, you know, we're very lucky to live so close to the park and have passes and go whenever we want, right? That's like such a, like, how awesome is that? And then, but the majority of families are maybe every 5 years, right? Like it's a long stretch between trips to Disneyland or Disney World. So with this park, even doing it really well and the cost being, you know, maybe not as high as Disneyland, but, you know, still a little bit higher than just the general kind of theme park, and having the RV park and the cabins, like they're thinking in that way, right? Where it's like, we can bring our whole family and go on this trip this year. Maybe they still go to Disneyland that, you know, on year 5, but it's a great place for a lot of families to go kind of in between, right? So the trip is they don't have to fly, especially if you do have your own RV, right? What a great thing for families to be able to do this. And if they are kind of in, you know, the heartland and closer to Oklahoma or in Oklahoma, I mean, that's definitely a plus, but it still will depend on, like you said, execution, how, you know, what they do with this is, and that's a pretty, I mean, 2026 is when they're planning for the theme park to be opened, right? Like that's pretty quick.
That is very quick.
Close. So what, 2025, I think, because Alan was posting in here too while I was looking, he beat me to it. But, you know, the RV park and the cabins and 2025 and then 2026 for the theme park. Now, could it be partial, right? Part of the park is up and running and they continue building, as Alan was mentioning too, as they kind of go along, right? Like they're starting to bring in, the money's coming in, so they're able to reinvest and continue to build. So, I mean, it's great that this is happening though, because we need this kind of like excitement and.
Yeah, and we need to remember that, you know, Disney had plans of, you know, the similar type of America themed park. So, you know, maybe they're just saying, you know what, you guys dropped the ball, we're going to pick it up and run. So, you know, unfortunately, they don't have Disney characters to work with.
Right.
But what are you going to say?
One of the things I think it's going to have to be is the American Heartland to me is just catering towards the people who, you know, live more, you know, in middle America. People are going to be taking road trips, things like that. I mean, look, Dollywood's popular and Silver Dollar City, et cetera, et cetera. Those are, you know, great theme parks. Something I've never been to either one of those, but it's on my bucket list, obviously. But a lot of people go there, so I have a feeling they're catering to those people who take road trips and who don't have the money or the time to go to the West Coast or the East Coast for the Disneyland, the Universal Studios, and things like that. But you know, Mad Hatter and Friends also said you have to have a reason to go out of your way. Remember, Field of Dreams had Shoeless Joe Jackson, but in general, if you build it, They Will Come only works in with a pre-existing draw. So, you know, hopefully they'll get that draw in to bring those people in. I mean, to be honest with you, if they build this, I'm interested in checking out. I mean, obviously we'll see it as they're building it. I mean, just like Epic Universe right now. I mean, they are working on that, and we're getting some great, you know, feeds from other channels showing the construction of that park, and it makes me, you know, want to go and check it out. Who knows? Maybe we'll get the same thing as they're building it. It'll be like, wow, that does look cool. I think I want to check this park out. And you know, I hope it is successful, but I really kind of think like you guys, it might take a little bit longer than. I mean, even Mad Hatter and Friends are saying, hey, 27, 28 soonest, you know, is his guess. And I think it's going to take some time to build this. I mean, I don't want them to rush it, and so that it's one of those things where, hey, we, you know, rushed it. It wasn't very good, and I have to work on it. But then again, we'll see.
Yeah. It's an interesting concept. I mean, you can see where they were lifting a lot of, you know, Disneyland-esque type of sections and things, but I don't know. It's. I hope it works. Yeah, exactly. Same way. Theming takes time.
Can be real fast, but theming takes time. That's right, Sammy Land.
It takes time, and it takes expertise, and expertise costs money. So that's. I mean, we're all talking about the same thing, and we all have, you know, the same hopes because we love theme parks. I'm not, you know, Disney only, you know, so I love to see other parks succeed and be, you know, special places for people. You know, that's why I love Knott's Berry Farm. It's a smaller park. It's always been basically in Disneyland's shadow, but it's got its wonderful little aspects to it. And like I said, there's parts of it that have endeared themselves to me. I've created memories there and connections to the park. If they can, you know, pull that kind of thing off and actually become a draw, you know, for people to say, you know what, maybe I'm going to take a weekend and go see it, you know, or we're on our trip over this way, let's stop in and we're going to check it out. It could become something. I don't know if it could be, like I said, I view it as below Disney level. So I don't think people are going to be, you know, booking week-long vacations around something like this, obviously. But I want something like this to succeed. I want it to be something really cool that makes everybody go, I really want to check that out someday.
So yeah, so Theme Park Casual is going to get an RV. We're all going.
Yes.
We're going to check it out over the weekend.
Yeah. Barry, you're on
It's
mute.
exciting. It's exciting to see, especially with hearing like Great America up in the Bay Area is going to be closed. You know, what I mean? You hear about places closing, so it's nice to hear something like this is coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can get the RV. I'm going to stay in the cabin or the luxury hotel.
Oh, I'm still staying in a hotel. I'm just going to use the RV to drive.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is good.
Well, kids, we are approaching 2 hours, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. It's been like I said, we
One
had
thing to
tons
cover?
to talk about. What's that?
We got one more thing to cover. Refurb list.
Refurb list. Okay. So
I'll
we've
go.
got, go ahead. I was going to say, go ahead, Barry.
Oh, okay. So as of today, Monorail is going to be. Whoops, excuse me. I clicked off of that. Monorail is actually going to be down from July 5th to August 31st. It says. Minjula Bar. There's no open date for that one. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is closed from July 24th to August 10th. But I could have sworn I saw that open last week when I was there on my birthday.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah,
I remember that
so
being
that's
open.
interesting.
Yeah, it was closed when I went because remember it was down. They were all three of them were down,
Right.
and then
Yeah, they've all
they
opening and
closed down.
closing different times.
Yeah,
Right.
So that was down again. They had the pin trading in front of it.
Gotcha. Toy Story Mania is supposed to be down to August 17th, and obviously Midway Mercantile, which is a store that's connected to Toy Story Mania, that has no open date right now. The Redwood Creek Challenge, no opening date, but usually it's because they're getting it ready for Halloween, for Villains Grove and the Oogie Boogie Bash events that are going to go through October 31st. So that's our refurb list right now that we've got going on.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Okay.
just a quick to touch on Wondrous.
Oh, yeah.
Changes.
Wondrous
Right.
Journeys, the timeline for that one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's so sad. I mean, I know it's coming back next year, right? It's supposed to come back. I'm loving this.
If it doesn't come back, I will be absolutely floored.
Yeah, and
There
I'm
is
sure
no
it is.
reason. There is no reason to change the fireworks show. Have somebody write or compose new music and everything when you've got a show that's a hit. So
Yeah, I agree. So that's what I'm banking on. So, but that for this year, the last day will be August 31st is the last performance of Wondrous Journeys. So we'll all be watching it every night that we can.
is that Labor Day weekend?
Yeah. So
It
September
is.
1st is when the I almost said Hawaii. What am I thinking? I want to go to Hawaii.
Cordy's off on another topic right now.
Yeah,
Halloween
Halloween.
comes to
There's an
this-
H there, right?
Next on Park Streamers Hangout, Cordy goes to Hawaii to
Oh
check
my
out.
gosh, don't tempt me. Here's Alani. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
But yeah, so and then I was checking the calendar and Magic Happens and World of Color 1 were scheduled through September 9th, which is the farthest weekend I could see in the calendar. So no changes there as of yet.
Okay. So does Halloween Screams launch on September 1st?
Yeah, so
Okay.
it will be Halloween Dreams with fireworks.
Nice.
That's too early.
Although-
Come on. It's not even Labor
I
Day.
know.
It's doing Halloween. Come on.
I know.
When's
I
the
was thinking
first
the same
movie?
thing right now. I honestly would like to see Wondrous Journey stay a little bit longer for another. I mean, you think that they would just keep it until September 9th, like the other, like World of Color 1 or whatnot. But, well, if that's what they're going to do. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's going to be fun seeing the new fireworks show for Halloween, but it does seem to be just a tad early there. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, Halloween, the Halloween Oogie Boogie Bash starts the following week on September 5th. Is that correct? I believe.
Yeah, it's that Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the Tuesday.
Right after Labor Day.
First Tuesday, yeah.
And are you going to that opening day, Cordy?
No, Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
First Thursday.
All right. And I'll be doing the following Tuesday.
Okay, cool.
The
And as
12th.
Brian Sevilla also mentions, Rogers the Musical ends August
Oh,
31st
yeah.
as well.
Oh,
And
geez. That was a
I
short
guess
run.
we'll see if they'll extend it. I don't know. The last time I went to see it, the first three shows, the VIP packages were sold out. but there were
Wow.
still some available for 5:30. So people are still buying the tickets.
Mhm.
And it was a pretty full house. I mean, I saw seats up in the balcony, and this was like it was a Wednesday or something, right? Middle of the week. So I don't know. I mean, they have the opportunity to extend it, and I haven't seen any advertisements like looking for, that they were casting for anything new, because it would be really sad if they shut it down and then nothing replaced it. I would hope.
Yeah, I think I don't know for sure. I want to say that they have something planned for the area, the queuing area.
Oh yeah,
I believe they
for
have
Oogie
something
Boogie.
planned there for
Yeah.
Oogie Boogie, and I think that's part of
Mhm.
why it's going to be closing, is because they had that area
Put it
already.
somewhere else. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
There last
don't
year.
mess with Cordy's Captain America.
Oh,
That's
I
for
know.
sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to find out if that comes back or not. So
Yeah.
it seems like it's a decent hit, and I again, it's one of those business decision. If you're able to sell the VIP tickets and you got a decently full house for most shows, let that run its course for another season, and then reassess at that point.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of agree with Samuelan. He says they should totally put some kind of Christmas show in the Hyperion, after Halloween. That would be kind of cool if they did that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Brian
Did they?
asked-
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, Brian had asked about like the fireworks. Now I'm going to forget the name.
Oh, he also
Halloween
asked, is the new parade coming?
Yeah, I think for the fireworks, it kind of goes like every year. From what I could see, the fireworks weren't every night. You know how there's those times in the months where they're like, we don't have it every night. We're going to do it on the weekends, and we'll also our closing times will get pushed back too, so we won't have as long in the park. And then I haven't heard anything about a new parade. That was the other question, but
Yeah, haven't heard anything about a new parade, and with Christmas coming up, the Christmas Fantasy will take over for that portion. In the new year, who knows?
right.
I'm guessing not, just because again, it's Magic Happens as a hit, and there's no reason to adjust from, when you've got something that people are lining up to watch. Don't fix something that's not broken.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and as far as nighttime entertainment, I really doubt they're going to give us Electrical Parade or Paint the Night.
Right.
I know. That would be nice.
I still hope for something at DC. I wish they could do something like they used to do over there with just.
I don't know if the wires get in the way though now on Buena Vista Street.
Right.
That's an issue. They can't.
Huh?
Yeah, they can't
was the
have
issue
the
with Paint the Night.
tall. Yeah, and I think Pixar Play Parade, they can't pull that one out again. So
Okay.
Get rid of those wires. Kidding. I'm
Yeah,
just
get rid
kidding.
of the wires. Put them somewhere else.
yeah.
Use that red trolley.
Well, I heard.
No,
something-
keep the trolley.
Was it a joke or was this real that Walt Disney World was doing adults only nights? Did you guys see anything about that? And it's in one park. It's probably, I don't know. Jeremy or y'all?
I don't know. Rogue Attraction, if you're in here still,
Yeah.
are they doing
Something
adults
about that?
only nights?
Yeah, in one
let's
park. 'Cause
see.
they got 4, right? So they can keep the
Yeah.
other 3 as is. But there was I heard
So-
there was one.
Thank you, Trish. Yes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the saying.
That's the thing. If it's
Let's
not
see.
broken, then don't fix it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
here it
Yeah.
is right now. So Mousetrap News actually said adult only days coming to Disney World this fall. And so adult only days are happening. It looks like it's happening at all 4 parks, just different days. So
Oh, okay.
and it's well, it looks like actually let me share my screen real quick so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Give me one moment.
Sorry, I know we were We were
No, that's right.
going to end, but I was like, oh wait,
And
Yeah, I was going to say we were wrapping it up, and now we've got another
Yeah, we
half hour
were.
to go.
yeah. So it looks like Magic Kingdom has it on September 3rd. Looks like it's happening in Animal Kingdom on September 11th. It's only sparse days though. Epcot on the 19th. So it's like every week, 1 or 2 days are doing it. The 16th for Hollywood Studios, the 27th at Magic Kingdom, the 30th for Epcot, and then again starts kind of changing again. Well, it looks like it's kind of the same day. It's the 3rd, the 11th. Yep, it's the same day.
Is Mousetrap a parody site, though?
Oh, is it? I don't know. Oops.
we're spreading.
I think
don't
it
know.
might. I think
Is
that
it?
might
Never
be
mind.
a parody site.
Ooh.
Oh, well, they got us. So never mind.
Wait, hold on. Disney dining. Adult only day at day. Hold on.
Fun for
Huh. Oh, no, never mind. This is just saying great ideas for adult only days. So maybe it is. I don't know. See, Cordy got me going down that rabbit hole.
I know. We're
All right,
here
never
to
mind.
uncover
Ignore what I
the
said.
truth, the lies.
Oh boy.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
It's called
Well,
Mousetrap.
keep your
It is
ear
called
out on
Mousetrap.
that. We got
Oops,
Mousetrap.
Brian. Hey, oh well. Hey, that's the fun about this. If we can't have fun in this stream,
Yeah, but Samuel Ann's right. It's a missed opportunity.
well, yeah, it could be something kind of cool, right? So, who knows? I mean, maybe they will.
Yeah, it was funny because
Not
when
to
you were.
trust that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Donnyland. Well, if I wouldn't have looked it up if Cordy hadn't said something.
I knew he was going to put it.
I'll throw it back.
Yeah,
on
everybody
her.
blame Cordy.
Hey, by the way, real quick, I just want to bring this up because we have gotten a lot of feedback, obviously, in the chats and feedback from a lot of our followers and subscribers. We try to cover as much news as we can. We typically cover 3 or 4, sometimes 5 topics when we do our Park Streamers Hangout. I know that some of you want us to cover certain things. If you have suggestions or ideas, hey, send us a message on Instagram or one of our other social media sites and let us know what you'd like us to cover, and we'll try to cover that. But sometimes when you guys throw things out in the chat, we're not always able to talk about that, or we're going to be talking about other things. So really just want to let you guys know that we will do what we can. And if you have some ideas, please share them with us. We'd love to hear them, and obviously eventually we'll have guests, but for right now we're covering about 3 or 4 topics or so every time we do this, and it seems to be every couple of weeks. And we're getting a lot of great feedback from all of you that you are enjoying our Park Streamers Hangout. So thank you for the feedback and especially the support.
Yeah, ditto for me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, we have talked about having guests on, and we wanted to kind of get our sea legs under us, with how this whole thing works, and being able to move through topics and everything. So I think we're getting pretty close to being comfortable enough to where we could have a wild card, if you will, out there to join us. So we definitely will be reaching out to some of the live streamers that you guys all know and love. We haven't actually put any names down yet, but we all run in very similar circles. So we definitely will be reaching out to some of them pretty soon here to see if we can have additional opinions and points of view, because that's always more fun. But I think that is going to do it for us. We've gone over the 2-hour mark, and you can blame Cordy for that because I was trying to wrap this up. Anyways, thanks again, everybody. Thank you to my wonderful co-hosts. This was, again, another fun evening of hanging out and just talking parks and stuff and everything. So before we go, Cordy, would you let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Yes. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and now Twitter, Cordy in California. And Threads,
Awesome.
but I don't check that, so don't bother.
And nobody does, so. Okay, and the one and only Barry Place 28. Let everybody know where they can find you.
All right, so you guys can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and you'll be seeing me shortly on Twitch as well at Berry Place 28. And before I throw it back to Theme Park Casual, if you guys really liked our stream today, please take the time to like all of our pages. We are basically broadcasting from each of our pages on YouTube. So if you could take the time to go to Theme Park Casual's page, Cordy in California, my page on YouTube, and hit the like button. And if you like what you see, please subscribe to our channels. And as always, thank you for your support. And Casual?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, all of them at Theme Park Casual. And actually, Cordy, when are you going to be at the parks next? What's your next live stream?
Good question.
Okay,
I'm
so
trying
we
to figure
will.
that out. I think Thursday for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Thursday, Cordy will be in the parks. Berry Place, you?
So I might try to stream tomorrow night. I know you're streaming as well, Casual, but I might stream tomorrow night, and then maybe just for a little bit at the Orange County Fair on Thursday morning if I have a chance, just for about an hour or so, because I'm going to spend the day with my daughter over there. So I thought I might try to do a little bit of a stream in the morning. So hopefully tomorrow night and Thursday morning for just a bit.
Okay, tomorrow night, where are you going to be?
I don't know if I'm going to Knott's or Disneyland yet. I'm still trying to work out the details. But if I go to Disneyland, I might run into someone really cool like this person.
Yes, I will be at Disneyland tomorrow night. So one thing I would like to take a moment and remind everybody, this coming Sunday, I will be at Knott's Berry Farm. It is the 1-year anniversary for me live streaming at the theme parks. And at Theme Park Casual, we will be launching our memberships. So I hope everybody will join me. And if you feel like it and want to do it, we would love to have you join the channel as a member. I've got lots of really cool stuff planned for the memberships, and some stuff that I just came up with today that will be revealed that evening. So with that, thank you everybody for joining us again. We have a blast doing these little streams here. Be on the lookout probably in about 2 weeks for another one. And until then, have a great night, and we will see you around, kids. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Awesome.